The NBA is in the era of the international superstar. International players currently lead the NBA in points, rebounds, assists, and blocks. And the last 7 MVPs all have gone to non-American born players. The All-Star format was even changed this year to World versus USA teams instead of the traditional East versus West. But not everyone is loving the comparisons between international players and Americans. Kevin Durant shared his thoughts with our Vincent Goodwill on other countries catching up to Team USA, saying, quote, "I just don't like the talk around USA versus European style of how you approach the game. All I hear is AAU is destroying the game. The Euros do it right while the Americans do it wrong. It's a lot of bull with that. I can read between the lines on that. It's a shot at Black Americans. We're controlling the sport. They're tired of us controlling the sport. France is coming for you? Really? We smack them boys." End quote. Okay, Vince, you did this interview. Is Kevin Durant right?
I think when you're in
I love y'all, because y'all are so eloquent. This is where Stephen A. Smith comes in. And I'll say it for you, because I know how y'all feel. I'm going to say it. KD is 1,000% right. 1,000%. We ain't going to sugarcoat it.
Hello and welcome to another Sports Spin, where we take a sports story and we spin it. I'm Sun-EB7 and thank you for joining. So, Stephen A. took it to the streets in the support of KD on this one. Wow, Stephen A. came out and said it all the way and backed it up. They all had a take that was similar. His was the real big one, but this is all. Not to discredit them on the show and their opinions and their point of views, not at all. It's quite entertaining a lot of times. I don't get to watch it as much. I'll see it if I see a subject that relates to something that I'm looking into. That said, Stephen A. came out strong in his support of KD and what KD said, and all of KD's sentiments were valid. A lot of times people say something, you may not agree or like it, but a lot of times it is valid. They said it for a reason. People don't just come out here, well, I ain't gonna say no one, but most times people don't just come out here and just say something for the heck of it. They usually have some form of thought behind it. Now you can tell when that doesn't happen. You can tell when they didn't think about it, they just blurted that crap out. This was not one of those, right? And I'm sure that he spoke the sentiments of a lot of basketball players, which is all good, all well and good. And of course, when you see something like that, you have to go, no matter where you see it, you have to go and check and see what provoked him. Was this something that was provoked? I know what provoked him overall, but I mean, who brought this up? And what happened? So I was looking into that, but I decided to take on Stephen A. and First Take's viewpoint, just because it don't fall far from everything else. Everything else lines up with it, which means it's not only truth, but it's authentic. Okay, so having said that, I will say that KD has now taken over the #1 spot for the most outspoken NBA player ever. He is #1. He's always been outspoken, but he has not been #1. And I bet you, I wonder, can you guess who was #1 before him? Yeah, none other than Charles Barkley. Everybody knows Charles Barkley speaks his mind. And so he even took over Charles Barkley. He says more stuff than Charles Barkley would say, and that's saying something. Because some things Charles Barkley would say, you're like, wow, dude, did you even, did you even play that over in your head? But Charles wasn't far from the truth in most of his assessments. He's saying what's on his mind. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean he didn't, do his thought process. It just means that he didn't think about what it's going to sound like when he say it to you. And some people do that. I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm guilty of it because now I'm gonna think. So when I say I'm guilty of it, I don't mean I just blurt stuff out. What I mean is, by the time I blurt it out to you, I'm ready for what you're gonna come back with because I done thought it all the way through before I told you. Now when I tell you, it's shocker to you, but not for me. It's been on my mind for a minute. So I'm not sure if Charles Barkley and Kevin Durant does that, but that's how I process information. So. I can understand and respect people when they're outspoken like that. Now back to the subject. I think there's another thing. Both sides. So there's two sides to be considered here. What KD is talking about, that's the obvious side. I'm gonna go on the other side for a second. If I'm somebody else looking at this, European or white. If I'm somebody else looking at this, your first thing is you're offended. How can he say something like that? And I can't speak for everybody, but I'm just saying this is how these things come about. And you want to defend yourself against what he's saying or say he's a moron, he shouldn't be saying that, or it's not like that, all that, And I would understand that viewpoint. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I would understand it. That said, here's the thing. There's some things we are not looking at. And one is, if those people I just mentioned do have an issue with it, good. Because it's good for the game. Because I think that's where we're going. I think this is an attempt at NBA and media to try to bring the game back. Also, I think it's an attempt to get these players to be more of to own the game more. They don't have, this is not a shot to today's players, but today's players want that great dunk. They want that great crossover, but they don't want that great, I'm going to beat you every time I see you. They don't have that. You look around the NBA, you don't see that, but I saw it growing up. I saw it all the time. You saw teams that were nasty to the other team, not in a bad way. Off the court, they were fine. But it was, I own you. You ain't got to go no farther than what Chicago did to New York. New York had a Hall of Fame center there that should have had a championship, at least one. He didn't get any because that guy in Chicago. He was never going to let him have one. And it sounds like, he personally took it. Man, actually, he did. That's what I mean. These guys were just, they owned the game. They owned the court. They owned you. Without being rude, I'm just saying their mentality, right? So I think that's what's been lost in the game today. They don't have that. They're nice guys. And I actually like that part because I believe in sportsmanship. Just because you knock a guy's socks off don't mean you can't help him up. Doesn't mean you got to growl at him and crap. Just knock the crap out of him and then go back to the next play. Tell him good run and then keep it moving. So I do like sportsmanship. I don't think you're supposed to hate a guy just because he's playing against you. But you can destroy a guy and smile. You don't have to hate him. So I get that part. And this generation does that well. But what they don't do well is they don't take it personal. Now, what KD just did was took it personal. And he made it personal for everybody. Because they pointed out I think out of the last 7, the majority were European. So they brought up the thing, well, European taking it over, they doing it right, yada, yada, yada. I would say to the NBA, to the players like KD, cool your jets. They supposed to say stuff like that. You beat them, right? Laugh at it. The game started here. How the hell are Europeans going to all of a sudden just be the best in the world? That ain't going to happen. If they were, they'd come over here and play and make more money and take over the league. Tell them, come on. It ain't going to happen. So it's good fodder for stirring the pot. But in essence, I'm sure of it. There were times when the NBA stirred up a little thing to try to make it seem like people were better than Jordan. What happened? Yeah, he just destroyed him. Every time he seen him, that player didn't even say it. He ain't the one that said it. The glove didn't say it. The media said it. And Jordan tried to destroy the glove every time he seen him. Same thing with Starks. Anytime the media knew, it was like throwing red meat out there. Every time they said, "Yeah, Jordan's one of the greatest players in the NBA," they knew his ears was gonna go. One of? Who you calling one of? Jordan took that shit personal. Now I'm telling you this because he's a good example for me to use. Why? Because I'm not a Jordan guy. I'm a Magic guy. I'm a Doc guy. I'm not a Jordan guy. I think he's the best. 1-on-1, that's the best player ever played the game. But there's other parts to the game. And I think Magic was the one that taught everybody how to play it, especially from that guard position. So I like to use Jordan because if somebody say, "Oh, you own Jordan," no, I'm not. No, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I put out that org chart, and Jordan is the CEO. Yeah, I know people thinking, "Oh, he's a Jordan fan." No, I'm not. I just wanted to stir the pot. He is the CEO though. He is. But I wouldn't, if you ask me who I would pick first, I got Magic. That's just how it is. So I feel like the NBA and the media is trying new ways of trying to stir up the league and create some competition because the NBA has fallen off. And so in that, I applaud the media for trying that. I mean, yeah, it'll sting a little bit, but maybe you need a fire lit under your butt. You know what I'm saying? They need something to make them start playing the game the way it was supposed to be played. I know the nice thing is cool, but you have to take it personal. I'm going to tell you something. If you take Jokic, rolling back 30 years, and put him in this league, I bet money he wouldn't win 3 MVPs or 2. Guaranteed. That's because Bird was going to get some of those. And Jordan and Magic and Isaiah and Doc, all those people was going to have something to say about that. They was going to make sure that they played their best game, especially when they saw him. These guys don't do that, but they would have. And if Jokic played well enough to get that, kudos. But I'm saying he wouldn't have. It was a different mentality back then. Yeah, because Chambers wasn't no joke. I talk about Chambers all the time. Chambers was, and Bobby Jones. That's another one. So they had great players that were from other cultures. Great players. But these guys took it personal. It's like they felt like it's their game. And that's pretty much how they played it. So they want you, and when KD said, "Oh, it's our game, we take it over," they're tired of us running the game. Well, you ain't gonna be running it for long if y'all don't get, change how you do. Because it is a lot of European players and other countries coming over and starting to dominate this league. When it comes to evolution, it happens, and it happens ever so slightly. So you do have to wake up and start playing the game. Like I would say for KD, this is not a shot at him. He's still one of the greatest, but he could be way better than he is. He has been, and he can be. But I don't think he's getting challenged in a way that forces him to just take control. And matter of fact, I think he's on teams where, other people want to take over the stardom, and the person that's not as good as him wants the ball more than him and wants to do more than him and be the star more than him. And, he has to step up and make it be known, no, I'm running this. And then do it and put it on his shoulders. I'm not saying be a ball hog. I'm saying run it. You know what I'm saying? And you spoke out about how they ain't, we beat them boys and all this other stuff. Okay, now show it. Go out there and be your best every night. And I know that's easy to come from someone that ain't playing in the league. But we can listen to anybody. Because, good information can come from anywhere. So that's what I would say to today's NBA player. You got to take it a little more personal, and you got to start doing things to set your legacy in this game. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this sports story has been spun. Take care.